Hello, hello, and welcome everybody. Hello, hello. Come on in, get comfortable, relax. We're playing Lake of Voices today. We're gonna finish up Lake of Voices, but first, before I get into all of that, let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Princess Evillan, and I'm a streamer here on Twitch. And I post almost everything I do here on the channel. It all ends up onto youtube.com/@princessevillanvods. EVILLAN is how you spell Evelyn, in case you didn't know. But yeah, I have a lot of games on the VODs channel. There's lots of videos that we've made, previous streams that we've done in the past. They're all full-length streams, so go ahead and check out previous streams that I've done, different games that I've played. Yeah, go check it out, and yeah, let me know what you guys think of it. But yeah, if you're watching this on the VODs channel in the future, hello, come join us on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/princessevillan. I love getting to stream and see you guys and hang out with you guys throughout the week. So come join me on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for video games, and join me on Wednesday and Sunday for webcomic reading with my lovely husband, Gob Gob the Goblin. Sundays we've been reading Homestuck, and Wednesdays we're gonna start reading Problem Sleuth, so make sure that you're liked, favorite, subscribed, all that stuff to both the VODs channel and the YouTube channel, or not the YouTube channel, the VODs channel and the Twitch channel, so that you can get updates on when I go live, which is every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and soon to be Wednesday. And when new videos drop on the VODs channel, which is every Saturday. So tomorrow you can catch the first stream of Homestuck if you are interested in hearing how the webcomic is going, the webcomic reading. We have a lot of fun. We've gotten a lot of people to come in and hang out with us while we're reading Homestuck. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So come join us on the Twitch channel if you're interested in seeing what we're playing for spooky season and all the different games that we're playing for Halloween. But yeah, anyways, let's jump into Lake of Voices, everybody. It's been a week, and I've been thinking a lot about Lake of Voices because I was thinking last time we played, there was a fire on the bridge, and Margret had lost her glasses, and Bemele was guarding her, I guess. He was on the other side of the bridge, and so when we went to help Margret, we lost Bemele to some of the nicks in the water. So I'm kind of like, what this game says, that you can't save everybody, but you can save like any person, right? But you can't save everybody in one route. So I'm hoping that that's the only death that we have to face. We've met Margret, who we met when we first started going across the river, or not the river, the lake. And then we met a guy named Lu, who seems to be very pessimistic about everything. He's kind of like very woe is me kind of character, but without really actually coming out and saying that. So anyways, you'll see what I mean when we jump into Lake of Voices. So let's do that. Let's switch over, and Lake of Voices is playing. Perfect. And I'm waiting for it to open up on the, why isn't it loading? Load better. No, I didn't. Okay, there it goes. I was gonna say, okay, so last time we played, we made it halfway across the lake. We made it to the island in the middle. So let's continue on. Let's try to keep everybody alive as much as possible. If anything, I want to get Margret out of here because she dies like no matter what you do in a lot of circumstances, I've come to find out. There was a point where we could have like said that we were going to go along with her across the lake in the beginning, and when we didn't say anything, we ended up having to go the long way, and she died anyways. So I'm hoping that we can keep her alive, because she did die in our first route. We all died in our first route, except for Bemele. But yeah, so let's see. The sky turns orange as sunset comes upon us. As the color seems to drain from the world, being consumed by the fog, the guide makes his appearance.
It's almost time.
I nod and feel myself grow tense. We truly are about to return to those bridges. All of us wait in an uncomfortable silence until night falls. We silently stand as one, forming a vigil of sorts. Our remaining lanterns illuminate the dark, prepared for tonight's journey. And yet, the way forward does not appear. The bridges haven't risen from the depths. I glance to my side. The guide doesn't look at all pleased. The corners of his mouth have a harsh bent as he briefly loses himself to heavy thoughts.
We must go to the shore.
He doesn't offer an explanation for why. Instead, he goes on without us. I follow after the guide, my forehead creasing with swelling worry. Behind me, I hear Margret and Lu's unsure footsteps. It's okay, Margret. We'll get you out of here. Last time we played too, Margret expressed that she had a hard time fitting in her village because she's so smart and she doesn't want to just be a seamstress or any of the women jobs that the village gives to women. I don't know, but she was like, I wanted to become a guide, and now that she's actually out here, she's realized that she doesn't think she can become a guide because it's just too scary. So I want to get her out of here as much as possible. So let's work on that. The four of us press onto the shore. The dark waters lap at the edges of the sand, and as expected, the maze is still hidden beneath the surface. The guide grips his staff tighter still, his knuckles turning ghostly white. He sucks in a breath of air like he is about to speak, but he hesitates. We all stare at him expectantly. After a moment more, the guide is fed up with waiting.
The bridges are late. If they don't arrive as soon as darkness falls, there's no telling exactly how long it will be before they do.
Interesting. So the bridges can be late. Lu doesn't say anything, opting to stare at the ground with an obscured expression. Do you believe we will have enough time to cross?
Time is by far the least of our worries. On the bridges we are constantly moving, which makes it easier to avoid the prowlers. However, this island does not offer that luxury. We're trapped here.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. My body goes rigid as his words sink in.
More importantly, the bridges are raised above the waters. Nixie have difficulties pulling themselves up onto the bridges. The soft sloping of the shore will allow far more prowlers to drag themselves towards us.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good at all.
Not all will be as dangerous as the ones we've encountered thus far. However, we could easily be overwhelmed.
A pit forms deep in my stomach. I stare at him aghast. I had no idea the situation was that dire. I glance from the waterline to the trees. What I'm looking for, I don't know. A sign of what might be to come, perhaps. Margret moves into discussion. Her mood is rapidly declining as well.
Then what should we do? We shouldn't stay on the shore if the monsters could be coming towards us at any moment.
The guide closes his eyes and suddenly looks very worn down.
Staying in the center of the island is the safest option. However, there's the risk that we may not be able to reach the bridges when they do rise. Prowlers could have taken full control of the shore by then.
Interesting. So we have to keep the prowlers off the shore.
Remaining here with our lanterns will ensure the prowlers cannot move freely.
Yeah, that's probably the best course of action. My brows involuntarily knit together. I don't like the sound of taking additional risks in an area that is already so dangerous, but our options are thin.
I will not be kept on this island for another day, so the shore is where I will be. You may wait at the edge of the forest, or even at the center of the island if you fear being attacked.
But he won't come get us when the bridges rise, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out.
If the prowlers come between us and you fail to make it to the bridges, I will leave you behind.
The guide has made his decision, and we must make ours.
If you were staying by the shore, perhaps I could be positioned somewhat further back from you, and then the others could stay further back still. That would keep us safer, without having any major gaps of darkness between us and the shore.
That's true.
I'd say that's likely our best option, and we don't have time to come up with any other way regardless.
True, we have to wait for these bridges to come up.
Fine.
Settled on the matter, the three of us begin to move away from the guide. He pays little attention to us, instead silently fixing his eyes on the water. I take my place in the middle of the shore while Margaret and Lu hover closer to the island's core on the line between dirt and sand. After getting a sense of where they are, I turn my gaze ahead. At first, I think I'm being fooled by the fog. There are several white dots playing along the edges of the water. Uh-oh. Dark globes begin to surface, and I see them for what they are. Eyes. So many white, dribbling eyes, gleaming sharply against their pitch-black bodies as the Nixie bob up and down. They surface and disappear in a loop, each time more sets of eyes and closer, surveying us more intently. Then they cackle. The sound is atrocious, gurgling, then turning high-pitched as they seem to take full stock of us. The lights in their eyes somehow seem brighter as the first of the Nixie dig their claws into the sand and begin dragging themselves upon the shore. I plant my feet firmer. A shrill shriek pierces the air, accompanied by a telltale hiss. I whip my head backwards towards the sound, only to be greeted by coal-black darkness. I cry out desperately into the void where Margaret and Lu stood.
What happened?
There's silence, then the best sound possible. Margaret's voice replies, albeit shakily.
There was a prowler in the woods. I didn't notice it until it was already too close to me. I dropped my lantern when I saw it. The light was enough to drive it away, but now it's gone. Shattered.
Oh no. I swirl my head back to make sure the shore is still clear before I sprint over to release them from the darkness with my own light. Margaret stares down at the ground dejectedly when I arrive. Lu stands nearby. He avoids eye contact by awkwardly looking away as I approach the two closer.
We can make a small fire for light.
Margaret sniffles loudly.
That may work for now. But what will we do once we're back on the bridges?
That's a good point. You lost your lantern and Lu didn't have one. So now we only have our lantern and the guide's lantern. And the guide already said that he wouldn't take Lu. So we have to stand away from him. So it's gonna be tight.
We will manage.
We'll have to manage. I speak firmly, trying to assure her. I can't even guess how effective the attempt was.
Lu, please, clear some space while I gather kindling.
Lu looks startled at suddenly being addressed, but quickly nods and gets to work pushing away the leaves on a small patch of dirt. Margaret moves to help him, though she looks terribly upset. I feel awful. It wasn't her fault. We dig a few inches down in the sandy soil before making an edging with the rocks to stop the fire from giving us a repeat of last night. I layer the fuel quickly and light a match at the base of the pit. Margaret stokes the fire with Lu looking on. The grass ignites easily and showers the area with enough light to keep anything else that may be lurking in the forest at bay. I release a discreet sigh. We're truly lucky no one was injured or lost during this ordeal. I keep that thought to myself, however. Hearing it would only make Margaret feel worse.
You should go back to your position, Kika. It will all be for nothing if we can't make it onto the bridges in the first place.
Very true.
Right.
I force myself to sound bold.
We're going to get through this.
We are going to get through this. Margaret attempts to smile at me. Lu views her empty expression for a moment before turning to move towards a nearby tree. He easily scales it. Absolutely puzzled, Margaret and I watch each movement as he lifts himself into its branches.
I figured there's not much of a chance any Nixie will get a hold of me here. They won't climb.
Probably. You think? I hope. His voice is lighthearted with an easy confidence.
Well, I won't bother trying to argue with that logic.
Margaret has shaken off some of her sorrow, being in a better mood now. I smile to myself. I'd like to believe that Lu will truly be safe from those predatory creatures this way. With the two of them doing as well as they can be, I cautiously back up to my original position. I return my full focus to the shore. As we feared, this is becoming a pressing situation. More prowlers rose from the waters while my attention was on those two. They've surrounded the guide on both sides. The only way to gain distance from them would be to delve further into the island, yet the guide shows no signs of giving up his position. He remains where he is, resolved to keep all the monsters near him in his sight. I grow more unnerved the longer I watch this. The guide seems impervious to the dangers of Sinlos. This is the first case where I can't tell whether he will continue to be fine, as always, or not. It's a distressing notion. As they creep ever closer, I can't stay silent any longer.
Your safety is most important. Consider retreating.
He doesn't face me, but replies.
I cannot do that. Nixie recognize signs of weakness. Backing away will only increase the odds of them attacking.
Okay. Oh, that's why the Nixie caught us when we tried to run last time. That makes sense. I grip my lantern tighter as I swallow hard. What can I do? As if to answer my own question, a thought whispers into my mind, and I look down at the lantern in my hand. I could throw it. As long as I don't let it go too far down the shore, it doesn't seem plausible that a Nyx could take it. But if I do lose the lantern, especially after Margret lost hers only moments ago, then... Watch, we're gonna watch. I can't act rashly here. The guide has managed through every situation we've been through, as well as countless others we did not bear witness to. I resolve to continue with what we've planned and keep my position. Without flinching, the guide keeps hold of our position on the waterline. I periodically switch between watching him, the others, and the rest of the shore. As I scan the forest, there's a stinging groan. Was that the guide? It can't be. I stand rigid in shock, a painful prickling sensation going down my back before whipping around to face the truth. He's crouched low on the ground, staring forcefully at a group of Nixie head-on. There is a whole other group of monsters rapidly clawing back into the water.
Hey!
I step forward with a shout, but he puts his one hand out to halt me. I do not go further. I and those creatures motionlessly watch for what he will do. His fingers curl tightly around the upper half of his staff. With great effort, he begins to rise to his unstable feet. The moment he is fully upright, the guide aggressively swings his lantern at the encroaching Nixie. He catches them completely off guard, and they scatter, rejoin the rest in the black depths. The guide crumples back into the sand unceremoniously. I can hear his ragged breaths as he regains his composure. He tugs at one side of his cloak, bringing it even closer around himself. It covers up a dark growing stain creeping through his right pant leg. Even while collapsed, he seems compelled to hide his fragility. Is that admirable or saddening? I do not know anymore. The guide roughly pulls himself back onto his feet and forces himself to remain standing. The rest of us must remain strong as well if we are to survive this night. Gripping my lantern, I watch over everything and everyone in sight vigilantly. After an untold period of time, the waters begins to stir. There's an unusual gurgling, a sound I never thought I would be relieved to hear. Slowly, creakily, the bridges make their nightly appearance. Sinlos is an overwhelmingly cruel environment. This island had felt like a safe haven such a short time ago, but that has been twisted to the point where I'm grateful for a chance to return to the maze, and we may not even reach that. More Nixie are breaching the water and wrenching themselves onto the sand. The guide signals to all of us.
We have to leave.
I wasn't sure he was going to tell us that. Thanks to his position on the shore, the guide is able to board the bridges without confrontation. For the rest of us, however, the Nixie begin to crowd the opening. It appears they want to get on themselves. We have desperately little time before we'll be cut off from the guide. I look to my lantern. Will this light alone be enough to cause them to disperse?
Come on!
Margaret's shout cuts straight through my thoughts. Oh, she got a torch! She's advancing towards me, holding onto a heavy stick with the end set on fire as a makeshift torch. The sight is striking. It is striking. Look at the art. That's so pretty. I love the way that they made, like, the light of the fire reflect off her golden curls and her face. That's so pretty. The lighting is so good in this picture. I love this. Oh my god.
It won't last long. We need to get through now.
She needs not say any more. The three of us push our way forward. As we advance, Margret relays her plan.
We'll toss the branch when we get close. The smoke spewing off this thing is making it even harder to see than usual. So you tell me when it's time, Kika.
Okay, I got it.
I can do that.
I can do that. The shore approaches closer and closer, and every one of the Nixie turn their attention towards our small group. Now, after alerting Margret, she gives her all to hurl the flame ahead of us while avoiding setting the bridge itself on fire. The monsters flee from the torch. A path is clear. We waste not one moment, sprinting towards the bridges. With the others near my side, I amble back into the maze. We don't stop until there is a considerable distance between us and the shore. It is there that we encounter the guide. Upon seeing his figure, I hit a sigh of relief. We haven't been left behind. Yeah, I was worried about that. I was worried he was going to leave us behind. Our arrival doesn't change the guide's empty expression. He doesn't say or do anything, instead allowing all of us to catch our breath. Lu looks as though his legs might fall out from underneath him.
Normally, I wouldn't ever say anyone on these bridges are lucky. But we are.
Yeah. Margret chimes in, equally as amazed and exhausted.
I don't know how we managed to do nothing wrong. That feels far more fitting for this journey.
We treasure the moment of triumph for a little more before the guide ends his silence.
We need to start walking. We've already lost much time as it is.
Almost as soon as he finishes his statement, he stumbles, nearly falling back down. His hands slip down the shaft of his staff as he sinks to the ground. He gasps under his breath.
Are you all right? Is there anything we can do? I don't have much, but I could still clean and wrap it.
I take a few hurried steps closer. I reach my hands out towards him, which he curls away from like a barn cat. He turns his gaze up to me and shakes his head.
I tended to it myself when you were still on the shore.
Moments tick by as I stare at him, growing ever more nervous. As horrible as his injury is, the larger situation at play is dire for all. It is a weight bearing down on each of us, threatening to bring the entire group to its knees rather than only our lead. We can't stay here.
Are you able to walk?
He eyes his feet with gritted teeth and clenches his staff tighter.
Not like this.
A beat of quiet passes before he continues, his voice slightly ragged.
I have a way. It will be enough to get to the other side.
Okay. Shaking, he removes his hands from his staff and reaches into his cloak, searching for something. I have little other choice but to watch as he searches his pockets. The panic that we thought was past starts creeping back in. He retrieves a small vial with a viscous liquid inside, swishing it slightly as he holds it up. I peer at it curiously.
Drinking this will numb the pain. I'll be able to ignore that my leg is injured for the time being.
Okay. I analyze the vial hesitantly. I'm pensive as I mull over the possibility of other effects it could have. Something that potent would be a miracle drug if there were no downsides along with the positives.
Is that safe? It must cause drowsiness or have some kind of impact on you. Not to mention, pushing your leg so hard when it's in that state could permanently ruin it.
Very true. I am worried about any side effects. He regards me as his lip twists partway into a snarl.
My leg isn't broken. It will heal without issue once I'm able to treat it. In order for that to happen, however, I need to live.
Okay. I flinch slightly. He wouldn't usually snap at such a question. The pain must be truly getting to him.
That is good. I'm still not clear on what the side effects are. We must be prepared for whatever may come.
It can slow reflexes and cloud the mind.
I look at him nervously. I'm not at all comfortable with the sound of that. Margaret quietly gasps, bringing a hand to her mouth. Lu gazes on with an empty expression on his face. The guide heaves another sigh, though the pain in it makes it sound more akin to a groan. He is still impatient with the group's delays as the time marches on.
I will only be taking half a dose. It won't ease all of the pain. However, it will reduce the odds that I will be notably impacted by any adverse effects.
Okay.
I know how you feel about others coming close to you. But is that truly the best solution to a situation like this? You need to be clear-headed here.
Got a point. Margaret looks at the bottle and then at him skeptically.
I can't walk without it.
One of us could help support you. Even if you worry over another person being nearby, putting up with that seems more reasonable than losing sense of what's going on around you.
He doesn't look at Margaret at all as he pries off the cork top of the vial and downs a portion of the contents. Margaret can't suppress her surprised cough that escapes her mouth.
We were still discussing this.
The guy continues to not acknowledge her at all. I don't think there is a discussion. I mean, he is within his rights of using that potion whether he wants to or not. And if it's just going to make his mind a little bit clouded, I mean, I'm sure he is more than capable enough of taking us even if he's injured. So I'm more worried about our lack of lanterns. Margaret silently fumes to herself over the ordeal. Lu looks down at the bridge quietly, still almost entirely uninvolved in the events involving him. The guide softly rests his forehead against the side of his staff. His eyes droop slightly as he relaxes his muscles briefly. He waits patiently for the medicine to kick in, forcing the rest of us to do the same. After a brief pocket of time, the guide's labored breath steadies, and he slowly pulls himself onto his feet with his staff as leverage. Despite stumbling slightly and trying to get up, the spike in energy he receives from the medicine is noticeable. Finally, he addresses Margaret's point.
The odds of making a mistake with my reflexes dulled is far lower than the odds of something going wrong with one person holding up another who can't even stand on their own.
That's true, he's got a point.
If the bridges start to sink, if we're attacked, if If one simply misplaces their footing and slips, both people will likely go down together and never get back up. And as I've stated, we've lost a great deal of time. No one could carry my weight without being slowed down. Now we must begin the journey again if we wish to reach the other side.
Okay. We can do this. He states this firmly before turning his back tightly and looks at the guide's retreating form rather unpleasantly. Still, she makes no further attempt to argue. It's already been decided. We can do nothing but follow. I can still see him limping. I cannot deny that is worrying. He's already taken half the medicine. Would taking enough to properly walk be so much of a risk? I begin to follow after the guide, and the two with me follow behind, making sure to stay within the safe harbor of my light. Once I'm near him, I notice that he isn't becoming more stable in gait. I ponder over whether I should mention my thoughts to him or not. No, we're not going to say anything. He knows what he's doing. I bite my tongue and let the thought go. Now is not the time to be making even more of a fuss. The guy knows how to manage these types of situations. Creating another discussion will waste more of our time and accomplish nothing. It's already been settled, and I need to keep it that way. Our group moves at a much brisker pace than the previous night. After the exchange that took place, the mood has sunk low into a murky pool. Not a word is exchanged between us. The only sounds that accompany us are the whispers of the demons in the lake and the pounding of our feet hitting the wood. After some time, we encounter a strange bridge. The oddity is noticeable immediately. The boards bend inward and become far narrower than the other bridges we've come across. The guide marches forward with no hesitation while the rest of us awkwardly halt in front of the unknown path. He calmly walks into the center of the boards. Halfway there, he begins to wobble. I suck in breath as I can only watch. To my relief, the guide is able to steady himself and make it all the way across without another hitch. Now it is our turn, and with only a single lantern shared between us, we have to be mindful of how to cross without leaving anyone in darkness.
I will stay in the middle. One of you will lead while the other goes behind.
I ponder over what positions to take. The person in front could potentially stall the others or bump into us, so it seems important to send someone capable of crossing without stopping. Yet it may also be better to send someone who could possibly be left behind first to ensure that doesn't happen. What? Send someone who could possibly be left behind first to ensure that doesn't happen. Oh, okay. So, I think what they're trying to get at is this is going to be another choice that we have to make of who goes in front of us and who goes behind us. They're saying that, like, Lu is definitely the one who would be most likely to stop walking and bump into us. And he's also the most likely to get eaten by the Nixie on our way across. So having Lu go first would be good. But I think we're going to have Margret go first because I want Margret to survive the most. So let's do a save. And we're going to have Margret go first. I look over to my two companions, who also seem pensive over this decision. None of us want to make the wrong choice. I hope dearly to myself that we're exaggerating how dangerous crossing this thin bridge will be.
If no one has an opinion on the matter, I would like to go last. It would be easier for me to match someone else's steps than to walk without a lead.
Okay, Margret wants to go last. I guess. Lu surveys the bridge nervously as he wrings his hands together.
I think I could go first.
Okay. Margret gives him a weak smile of appreciation. With the order decided, we carefully start to make our way across. Okay, so we didn't have to make a choice. That's good. First, Lu tentatively steps onto the narrow bridge. A few seconds later, I follow after him, and after a pause, behind me, Margret also starts going across. As we inch our way across, something strange starts to happen. I notice the bridge is starting to bend down to the right. I suddenly realize that the weight of all of us is stressing the support beams. The others have noticed as well as sounds of alarm resound from both in front of me and behind. I speak in a hushed whisper, trying to remain calm.
We need to focus on keeping ourselves centered. We can't let the bridge tilt.
I think over our predicament. I can't leave Margret behind. There's nowhere for her to go with no other source of light nearby. Lu could try going by himself while we kept still. We aren't close enough to the guide for Lu to remain in light completely. However, with only him moving, hopefully the bridge will remain stable enough for him to cross it quickly. With him safe on the other side, we will have an easier time keeping the bridge from bending again. I can't be sure if it's worth the risk, though. Those concerns may be knee-jerk overreaction to seeing a sign of danger. If all of us go slowly, it's possible we could still cross together. I'm not gonna do anything.
Stay here. What if it breaks?
Yes, we need to move forward. If someone notices the bridge bending at all, they need to slow and tell the rest of us.
Okay. Both of them nod, and so we begin inching our way forward. I focus my thoughts on putting one foot in front of the other, keeping my balance in check as I try to remain centered. Despite our best efforts, however, the bridge begins to tilt sideways once more. We can't stay in sync with one another, causing the front bridge to bend down to the left while the back twists to the right.
Stop! We need to rebalance.
All of us moving our positions at once only further contorts the bridge. It begins to rock dangerously back and forth. I start to struggle to remain on my feet, let alone be perfectly centered. It isn't me alone. A lot of us struggle to keep from toppling over as the bridge waves from side to side. Then I hear a high-pitched yelp from behind me. I turn my head and see that Margret is slipping. She shuffles haphazardly on her feet and draws dangerously close to the edge. I reach out a hand to her, as futile as it is. She's already lost her balance and topples over the side of the bridge completely. No, Margret, no! I wanted to save you!
Margret!
I shout desperately, but my voice can't help. She struggles just below the surface of the thick water until the monsters make their way to her. She never resurfaces. There's not so much as a bubble coming up from the lake. Okay, we're gonna load. We're gonna load this. Okay, we'll send Lu in front of us.
No one has.
She wants to go last. Lu wants to go first. That makes sense. Lu has to go across without us. Lu, go without us. I hastily share my thoughts on the matter with the other two. He looks down the path ahead of him. I can't see his expression. Margret keeps quiet, a silent agreement towards the plan. Without any further conversation, Lu begins to carefully make his way down. It mostly stays in one place. The bridge slightly creaks from side to side. Luckily, it is not an extreme enough tilt to unbalance anyone. Lu successfully reaches the edge of my light. For a moment, he stares down at a path of darkness. Lu manages to inch closer and closer to the other side. However, his frantic pace causes him to misstep. Oh no, Lu! He gasps as the upper section of the bridge lurches to the side. I want to desperately to help him. However, I'm hit with the painful reality that the only way to do so is by remaining still. Any step I take towards him would only shake the bridge further. I have no choice but to simply watch what unfolds. The bridge continues to tilt deeply to the side. He loses his footing and falls off the bridge, plummeting into the inky water. He doesn't call out for us or for anything.
Lu!
I shout despairingly, but my voice can't help. Lu never resurfaces. There's not so much as a bubble coming up from the lake. The bridge slowly creaks back into place, sloshing as it settles into its original position, all as if nothing has happened. An eerie stillness overtakes the area as I stare, mouth trembling, at the place my companion was lost. I'm overwhelmed with feelings, my eyes fill to the brim with tears. Why? Why did this have to happen? Before I have any time to grieve, the guide's voice rings out on a wind from across the bridge.
You cannot stay there. You must keep going.
We lost a guy.
Oh no.
I know. It was either lose him or lose the girl, and I'm set on making sure that she makes it to the other side.
Like I said, it's time for cuddles.
Like it does say it's time for cuddles. I was giving her cuddles before I started stream, and she was loving it.
She says more cuddles, please. Mom, you're not over yet.
I count my breaths in an attempt to calm myself. As long as I stand here, Margret can't move.
I'm going to start walking again.
Okay. Now with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3, it is not as difficult a journey to make. The mere idea of one of us being missing pains me to my core. Eventually, we make it to the other side of the narrow bridge, and the remaining 3 of us stand together quietly as we process what happened. I place my free hand over my face to cover my eyes as I begin to weep. Not all of us made it. No matter how many times I stated it in my head, I'm not able to make myself accept it. We were all here just a moment ago, and yet now, how could this have happened?
Forget what you saw. As of right now, nothing matters except for the fact that we have yet to reach the shore. Morning will arrive soon. We must continue.
Okay, we'll continue. I can understand the words. I need to keep myself together until I reach the shore. And yet, it seems impossible to actually do. Everyone is being lost, one by one. I can't take it. Margret huddles close to me. She's also sobbing quietly into my shoulder. I can hear her faintly whispering apologies over and over like a heartbroken mantra. The guide taps the base of his staff onto the boards, not allowing us to become lost in our sorrow. Margaret sniffles and wipes the tears from her eyes. She begins to walk forward. She looks behind her to see if I'm still remaining close. I manage to make myself take a step forward. My stomach twists as we simply have to move past the death of another person for the second time. It's so cruel. Lu was such a brave man. Not really. Despite whatever had been plaguing him, he didn't let it stop him in place. He could have done so much more, but all that was lost in a moment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. After hours of navigating the web of bridges, the faint silhouette of the shore creeps into view. It seems unbelievable that the end is in sight. Even that wisp of hope does little to ease the ache inside me. I still feel hollow inside. Those of us remaining continue in the direction of the shore, and the darkness around us begins to break. A seed of worry sprouts inside me. Will we make it? The guide ahead seems to have no sign of concern on his face. I hold on to the hope that we'll be able to make it through. We near the very end of the bridges. I can smell the trees and the earth, and even through the fog I can almost count the remaining bridges between us and land. But between us, the end, and us, a prowler appears. Margaret releases a distraught sigh. With her free hand, she rubs her eyes in exasperation. I eye the monster intently. It makes no move to leave us, so I turn to the guide instead.
Here, take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
The guide says nothing. However, he extends his hand to accept my offer. I feel my body tense for a moment before relinquishing my light to the guide. It's not much further. I'm sure we can make it. The guide slowly steps ahead. See, if we had lost our lantern before, when he was being surrounded, then we wouldn't be able to do this, I don't think. The guide slowly steps ahead. He and the creature brace for confrontation. Margaret and I stay close enough to the guide's back to keep from being left behind in the darkness.
Be ready to run. Don't get left behind.
You can do this, Margaret. He then darts forward and launches the light directly at the prowler. It makes a snarling hiss as it retreats defeated back into the black waters. None of us waste even a second looking back. We push forward. I race across the bridges, desperately trying to keep the guide's light-edged figure in clear sight. I run as fast as I possibly manage without slipping on the boards. We run across the entire way, spurred on by the shoreline rapidly approaching. Miraculously, I feel my feet plunge into dirt. I stumble forwards, nearly collapsing onto the ground while trying to catch my breath. It feels as though I've come out of a long dream. We made it. Margaret cries loudly, unable to contain her emotions as she reaches the shore. I rest there quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Finally, I look up from my lap to see Margaret standing ahead of me. Her face is buried in her hands. However, it's out of disbelief rather than sorrow. It's been countless times in the past 2 days. She lifts her head out of her hands, and both of us make eye contact. No words need to be exchanged between us to know what the other is thinking. I'm glad for it, because I'm not sure I would be able to speak even if I needed to. The sound of sloshing and wood lurching captures our attention as the bridges begin to sink. In a few minutes, only the lonely dock is left. With that, the guide walks towards me.
It is time to leave this place. There is nothing left for you here.
Upon being addressed by him, I rise to my feet. He has a calm look on his face, though there is force behind his serenity. I open my mouth in an attempt to speak, however, I quickly realize I have little idea of what to say. Do I thank him for this? Should I give him my trust? Was our survival because of him, or despite him? Even now, I cannot know for certain. And then the fog is removed from my thoughts. After everything that has happened, it becomes clear. I hurt in my face to match his serious disposition. There is something he is certainly right of. This lake isn't a place to linger. Going round and round in circles will never help. We cannot submit our lives or our minds to sinless. For better or for ill, there is only one person who can help those once they are within its grasp, the guide. If he were removed, the place would be no safer. What I must do if I truly want to defend others is keep them from coming here at all. When I return to my village, I intend to make that information acutely known to our elder. For that to happen, we must leave.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. His eyes narrow as he looks over me. I begin to feel uncomfortable under his scrutiny, but for a moment I could swear I noticed him smiling slightly. However, it could easily be a trick of the morning sun. I look away to face Margaret, not wanting to get caught up with this any longer.
Margaret, will you be coming?
Margaret's gaze goes past the guide and me. She fixates on the lake forlornly. I feel hopelessness emanating from her. She lost something important from the inside of her in that lake, something she will never get back. I empathize greatly with her, knowing that feeling is one we will never escape from, even after this lake is far behind us. Margaret seems to shake the feeling off and turns towards me. The smallest of smiles graces her lips as she nods.
Yes, I'm coming.
Margaret's vigor returns to her at the end of that sentence. She speaks with a little bit of the confidence she had at the beginning of the journey. She gives us one last look to our lead. Her gaze is harsh and scrutinizing. I'm not entirely sure what she's trying to convey with the look, but that isn't for me to know. Margaret definitively turns. She then walks towards the forest. I can't help but wonder what will become of her now. Perhaps she will tell me someday. Despite the firmness I so painfully tried to have, my heart starts to waver. Bemele, Lu, they're both still here. I wish to give them a proper farewell. I want to do something. My eyes begin to water and I almost turn back around. No, it is done. I need to remember that. They would never want me to ascribe their lives to Sinlos. Nothing would disgrace their memory more. I will keep them in my thoughts without allowing the lake to poison me. With my steadfastness truly regained, I march into the light with no hesitation. With a solemn heart, I at last arrived at Hemmer. They were grateful to see me, for it was a desperate situation indeed. The urgency meant that my mind was occupied with other matters. I worked tirelessly to aid Hemmer's own guards in forcing back the brigadiers. But during the moments of calm and when the sun went down, I would remember the lake. Oh, Bemele. The villagers were alarmed when I arrived on my own, but it did not take them long to guess what must have happened to Bemele. Having to recount the terrible story was almost more than I can endure. Yet I know it will be even worse when I must tell my fellow guards back home. They deserve to hear the truth from me, regardless of how I feel. Margaret and I parted ways before I arrived at Hemmer. She did not say where she would be going or what she would be doing. She did, however, put on a smile as she departed, which I felt was more for my sake than her own. I hope she is well wherever she is, and I would like to think that somehow we may see each other once more on another day. When receiving my payments for his services, the guide must give a report of all those who both succeeded and failed to cross the lake. His retelling of events had little to say of Lu. I know that is because he was not meant to be there and was never one to open up, but it still saddens me to face how I never truly got to know who he was. I can only pray that those who cared for him will learn the truth of what happened. I have not heard nor seen the guide since then. He will remain obscured in that realm of fog and fear, a mysterious light off in the distance that is ever out of reach of the real world. I worry about when I must return home to my usual life. It will be difficult to continue as things were before. One thing I know for certain is that my village elder must be told that no one is to cross Sinlos again. I have already told the Hemmer leaders the same. Not a single more person should have to experience what we did. Its darkness will remain with me for the rest of my days. Though so much was lost, I try to believe that our lessons will keep others from suffering the same way, and, in the end, something will be gained. Lake of Voices. Pain. Persevere through all the hurt. Oh my goodness. Well, that was a lovely game. I really wanted to save both Margaret and Lu, but it seems like we can only save one person. Maybe there's different ways that we could save other people. I'm not 100% sure what we could have done to save more people. I did try my hardest with the situations that we were given. So, I'm glad we learned more about Margaret. I kind of want to learn more about Lu a little bit. I want to know why he's so sad and why he's so, indifferent about crossing the lake. He didn't even, cry out when he went under the water. He just kind of accepted it. So I kind of wonder, what he was running from and what he was trying to avoid and what he was trying to do crossing the lake by himself. I'm surprised that he didn't meet more prowlers along the way, but Otome sweetheart, that's cute. This was a lovely game. I really enjoyed it. There's definitely more to play. There's other paths that you can take. You can learn about other characters as well. So if you're interested in picking up this game, I do believe that it is free on Steam. So I would highly recommend go checking out Lake of Voices if you are interested in playing this game for yourself and discovering the other routes that you could play through. Let's take a look at the CG gallery. The art in this game is so amazing. Yeah, there's 2 that we missed. There's more here. There's more there. So there's still a lot of the game that we haven't discovered. So that's interesting. Let's check out the bonus. Welcome to the bonus event section. There are 3 bonus events in total. 1 that does not include story spoilers and 2 that do. The first event is unlocked by getting any ending where Kika crosses Sinlos when he reaches the other side alive. The other events are unlocked by getting a specific ending. Oh, okay. Right now you only have 1 event unlocked. We hope you enjoy it. Oh, a magical night. I'm running. I keep running and running and I can't stop. If I do, then... Ah! It all happens in an instant. I'm suddenly falling forward, my feet slipping from underneath me. I hit the boards and everything goes black. Arden? Excuse? Alright? Bits and pieces of sound make their way into my ears. I can't understand what they mean. All the noise is starting to rouse me from sleep. My groggy body protests. I'm not ready to wake up yet. Hello? My silent pleading does no good, and what I now realize is a voice calling out for me continues. My heavy eyelashes flutter open. You're awake, thank goodness. Oh my god, what the heck? I rub the back of my head while sitting up and taking in the surroundings. Oh. A man stands before me. He is tall with slender fingers and the most enchanting eyes I have ever seen. He extends a hand out in my direction, offering to help me up. Nervously, I accept. Thank you. It is no trouble. I couldn't possibly leave a lady alone out here in a state like that. Who are you? My name is Dillert. My eyes widen. It's such a unique name, I can't help wondering if it's foreign. I'm Kika. Well, Kika the Steadfast, but I don't want to brag about having a title. The elders in my village just gave it to me because I do so much for them. How remarkable. Not really. You were too modest, Kika. Tell me, what brings you out to this neck of the bridges? I have to assume it isn't for this fine scenery, haha. I hope the darkness of the night covers my cheeks, which have gone red by now. Diller makes for some very fine scenery, and he's charming too. I don't know what you're looking at, but what I'm seeing does not look charming at all. Somehow, I can't seem to remember. Everything before you got here is a blur. I'm terribly sorry. In that case, I suppose you wouldn't know the way to the shore either. No. I could escort you there if you wish. I appreciate it, sure. Then escort you I shall. Thank you. The 2 of us began walking side by side. It's embarrassing to be standing so close together, but the bridges aren't too wide, and it is still nice. I sneak a glance at him. Dillard, what were you doing before coming across me? I was merely taking a stroll. I see. I'm sorry if I interrupted you. You've done no such thing. In truth, even if you had not needed my assistance to find your way back, I'd hoped to invite you to join my walk regardless. Dillard. We walk in silence, enjoying one another's presence. So, Kika, can you remember anything else? I'm not sure. Can you tell me about yourself instead? What do you do for a living? He chuckles and I blush. I hope I don't seem too eager. I don't have a career per se. I'm quite self-sufficient. There is no need for me to go out and work to support myself. I see. I do enjoy spending my time walking these bridges and encountering all the unique individuals who do the same. Do you usually take walks with them? No, this is the first time. Somehow it felt like I couldn't leave you alone. I see. Much too soon, the shore comes into view. One of the old boards of the dock breaks as I step on it. I begin falling backwards. My eyes shut and I brace for the impact. But it never comes. My descent was stopped by something sturdy. Oh my goodness, look at the little blushies on his face. I cautiously open my eyes again. Dillard caught me and I'm being held in his arms. Oh my god. Thank you. You're welcome. We're so close. Kiss him. I lean in, removing a little distance remaining between us. Kiss. Kiss! We part quickly, both bashful. I appreciate you walking me back. It was my pleasure. Sadly, I must return now. Farewell, Kika the Steadfast. May our paths in this maze called life cross again. Yes. All I can do is watch as he disappears into the mist. Goodbye, Dillard. After that, I went back to my normal life. Sometimes it seems like that time where I kissed him under the moonlight was just a dream. No, I shake off such thoughts. I have to believe it was real and that one day we will meet again. And no matter what happens, I'll always remember that magical night. Best ending! Thank you for playing! Aw, that's so fun! I like we got a little, like, we got a little romance bit there with Delert. That was fun. I was wondering why we were running across the bridges again, but that's really cute. I wish the game was a little bit more like that. That'd be really fun. He was really scary looking though, still, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about us kissing a prowler, but it seemed to have worked out in our favor, so yeah. Anyways, that's all I have for today for Lake of Voices. Let's see, is there any parts where we can load and get a different ending, perhaps? I don't think so. Let's see what happens if we let Margaret die and Lu goes across with us. Say nothing.
I don't want to stay here. What if it breaks?
Yes, we need to move forward. If someone notices the bridge bending at all, they need to slow and tell the rest of us.
Both of them nod, so we get inching our way forward. I focus my thoughts on putting one foot in front of the other, keeping my balance in check as I try to remain centered. Despite our best efforts, however, the bridge begins to tilt sideways once more. We can't stay in sync with one another, causing the front bridge to bend down to the left while the back twists to the right.
Stop! We need to rebalance.
All of us moving our positions at once only further contorts the bridge. It begins to rock dangerously back and forth. I start to struggle to remain on my feet, let alone be perfectly centered. It isn't me alone, a lot of us struggle from toppling over as the bridge waves from side to side. I hear a high-pitched yelp from behind me. I turn my head and see that Margaret is slipping. She shuffles haphazardly on her feet and draws dangerously close to the edge. I reach out a hand to her, as futile as it is. She has already lost her balance and topples over the side of the bridge completely.
Margaret!
Oh, Margaret. I shout desperately, but my voice can't help. She circles just below the surface of the thick water until the monsters make their way to her. She never resurfaces. There's not so much as a bubble coming up from the lake. The bridge slowly creaks back into place, sloshing as it settles into its original position, all as if nothing happened. An eerie silence overtakes the area as I stare, mouth trembling, at the place my companion was lost. I'm overwhelmed with feelings. My eyes fill to the brim with tears. Why? Why did this have to happen? Before I have any time to grieve, the guide's voice rings out on a wind from across the bridge.
You cannot stay there. You must keep going.
I count my breaths in an attempt to calm myself. As long as I stand here, Lu can't move.
I'm going to start walking again.
I will too.
Lu speaks very softly. Now, with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3, it is not as difficult a journey to make. The mere idea of one of us being missing pains me to my core. Eventually, we make it to the other side of the narrow bridge, and the remaining 3 of us stand together quietly as we process what happened. I place my free hand over my face to cover my eyes as I begin to weep. Not all of us made it. No matter how many times I stated it in my head, I'm not able to make myself accept it. We were all here just a moment ago, and yet now, how could this have happened?
Forget what you saw. As of right now, nothing matters except for the fact that we have yet to reach the shore. Morning will arrive soon. We must continue.
I can understand the words. I need to keep myself together until I reach the shore, and yet it seems impossible to actually do. Everyone is being lost, one by one. I can't take it. The guide taps the base of his staff into the boards, not allowing me to become lost in my sorrow. Lu shuffles towards the guide, but he doesn't make it very far before he runs out of light for my lantern to remain in. I manage to make myself take a step forward. My stomach twists as we simply have to move past the death of another person for the second time. It's so cruel. Margaret was so bright, so thoughtful, even with her teasing remarks. She had so much to offer, and it was all lost in a moment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. After hours of navigating the web of bridges, the faint silhouette of the shore creeps into view. It seems unbelievable that the end is in sight. Even that wisp of hope does little to ease the ache inside me. I still feel hollow inside. Those of us remaining continue in the direction of the shore, and the darkness around us begins to break. A seed of worry sprouts inside me. Will he make it? The guide ahead seems to have no sign of concern on his face. I hold on to the hope that we'll be able to make it through. We near the very end of the bridges. I can smell the trees and the earth, and even through the fog, I can almost count the remaining bridges between us and land. But between the end and us, a prowler appears. Lu doesn't seem surprised, as though he had expected not to make it without further issue, or even at all. I eye the monster intently. It makes no move to leave us, so I turn to the guide instead.
Here, take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
The guide says nothing, however, he extends his hand to accept my offer. I feel my body tense for a moment before relinquishing my light to the guide. It's not much farther. I'm sure we can make it. The guide slowly steps ahead. He and the creature brace for confrontation. Lu and I stay close enough to the guide's back to keep from being left behind in the darkness.
Be ready to run. Don't get left behind.
Got it. He then darts forward and launches the light directly at the prowler. It makes a snarling hiss as it retreats defeated back into the black waters. None of us waste even a second looking back. We push forward. I race across the bridges, desperately trying to keep the guide's light-edged figure in clear sight. I run as fast as I can possibly manage without slipping on the boards. We run across the entire way, spurred on by the shoreline rapidly approaching. Miraculously, I feel my feet plunge into dirt. I stumble forwards, nearly collapsing onto the ground while trying to catch my breath. It feels as though I've come out of a long dream. We made it. Lu stares hard at the dirt beneath him. I cannot place what it is he might be feeling, though I barely know how I feel right now. I rest there quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Finally, I look up from my lap and see Lu standing away from me. His gaze is as empty as he stares out into the thick fog veiling the lake. As though he realized I was staring, Lu suddenly twists his view back. I'm gonna sneeze. We look at one another for a time. I can only guess what he might be thinking. No words need to be exchanged between us. I'm glad for it, because I'm not sure I would be able to speak even if I needed to. The sound of sloshing wood lurching captures our attention as the bridges begin to sink. In a few minutes, only the lonely dock is left. With that, the guide walks towards me.
It is time to leave this place. There is nothing left for you here.
Upon being addressed by him, I rise to my feet. He has a calm look on his face, though there is force behind his serenity. I open my mouth in an attempt to speak, however, I quickly realize I have little idea of what to say. Do I thank him for this? Should I give him my trust? Was our survival because of him or despite him? Even now, I cannot know for certain. And then the fog is removed from my thoughts. After everything that has happened, it becomes clear. I harden my face to match his serious disposition. There is something he is certainly right of. This lake isn't a place to linger. Going round and round in circles will never help. We cannot submit our lives or our minds to Sinlos. For better or for ill, there is only one person who can help those once they are within its grasp, the guide. If he were removed, the place would be no safer. What I must do if I truly want to defend others is keep them from coming here at all. When I return to my village, I intend to make that information acutely known to our elder. For that to happen, we must leave.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. His eyes narrow as he looks over me. I begin to feel uncomfortable under his scrutiny, but for a moment I could swear I noticed him smiling slightly. However, it could easily be a trick of the morning sun. I look away to face Lu, not wanting to get caught up in this any longer. He catches my eyes on him and looks back. Lu opens his mouth, however no words come out, so he closes it again. The two of us stare each other down awkwardly. After another brief moment, he gives me a shaky smile.
Goodbye. And, thank you.
You're welcome, Lu. He backs away from me slowly at first, studying my face deeply one last time before turning around completely and darting into the forest. I feel so caught off guard by the action that by the time I recover, he's already gone. I recognize that he probably needs some time alone to process what happened. He's safe. He's alive. That is all that matters. Despite the firmness I so intently tried to have, my heart starts to waver. Bemele, Margret, they're both still here. I wish to give them a proper farewell. I want to do something. My eyes begin to water and I almost turn back around. No, it is done. I need to remember that. They would never want me to ascribe their lives to Sinlos. Nothing would disgrace their memory more. I will keep them in my thoughts without allowing the lake to poison me. With my steadfastness truly regained, I marched into the light with no hesitation. With a solemn heart, I at last arrived at Hemmer. They were grateful to see me, for it was a desperate situation indeed. The urgency meant that my mind was occupied with other matters. I worked tirelessly to aid Hemmer's own guards in forcing back the brigadiers. But during the moments of calm and when the sun went down, I would remember the lake. Bemele. The villagers were alarmed when I arrived on my own, but it did not take them long to guess what had happened to Bemele. Having to recount the terrible story was almost more than I can endure. Yet I know it will be even worse when I must tell my fellow guards back home. They deserve to hear the truth from me, regardless of how I feel. When receiving payments for his services, the guide must offer a report for all those who both succeeded and failed to cross the lake. The name and fate of Margret soon became known in Hemmer. I added that she was an intelligent, thoughtful person and urged them to show respect for her passing. I hope that one day I will have the opportunity to go to her hometown and give my own proper respects. Lu never reappeared after walking away that morning. I do not know where he has gone, but wherever he went, I pray that he will live a safe and wonderful life. Perhaps someday we will meet once more. I have not heard nor seen the guide since then. He will remain obscured in that realm of fog and fear, a mysterious light off in the distance that is ever out of reach of the real world. I worry about when I must return to my usual life. It will be difficult to continue as things were before. One thing I know for certain is that my village elder must be told that no one is to cross Sinless again. I've already told the Hemmer leaders the same. Not a single more person should have to experience what we did. Its darkness will remain with me for the rest of my days. Though so much was lost, I try to believe that our lessons will keep others from suffering the same way, and, in the end, something will be gained. Lake of Voices. It didn't even matter. It didn't even matter. Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. Alright. So that's all I have for Lake of Voices today, guys. I know this is a little bit of a shorter stream, but that's okay. It is Friday after all. So I'm going to let this play out, and then we're going to talk about Lake of Voices a little bit more, and then we're going to wrap up stream. So, yeah. This is such a wonderful game. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys take the time to go check it out and give a good review to the game on Steam. Yeah, this was such a thought-provoking game. I wonder, because in our first playthrough, we got separated and we ended up taking West Bridges, and we were trying to regain back with Bemele and the guide because we lost everybody else. So I wonder if I hadn't ran away from the Prowler and just stared him down in the beginning, I wonder if we would have gotten a different ending, and perhaps me and Bemele could have, Kika and Bemele could have made it to Hemmer without having any issues. I wonder if that's a route that would be possible. I'm not going to play through that route because we've already been down that way, and it's already bad enough that I voiced all those lines after already reading them for the first time. So anyways, that's going to be it for Lake of Voices with me today, guys. Thanks for joining me. I hope you will join us on Sunday for Homestuck. Gob Gob the Goblin and I, my lovely husband, will be reading Homestuck. We've been reading it for the past few weeks. It's been very fun. I hope you guys come join us for that. It's a really fun stream. You get to see both me and Gob Gob, which is fun because Gob Gob doesn't stream as much as I do, but he does have some really wonderful voice acting skills. So I hope you guys get to come in and experience all the voices that he makes for the different characters. I'm not so good at making voices, as you guys know from like Lake of Voices and other visual novels that I played. I really only have like 3 voices. But I'm working on making more voices and expanding my vocal range. So yeah, come join us for Homestuck as we voice our way through the whole webcomic. It's going to be a long journey for us because Homestuck is very long, but we're having a lot of fun with it. So I hope you come join us. And then join us on Tuesday. We've been playing The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. It is a FMV kind of video game. You ask questions to a bunch of psychiatry clients, and they all have different things that they have going on in their lives and in their stories. Last time one of them thought we were flirting with her, and I was like, no, we're not flirting with you. That's very unprofessional. So yeah, it is a murder mystery. We are trying to find out who killed Dr. Decker. We have a lot of different clients that could have killed him. So it's kind of a little bit of a murder mystery as we try to figure out what happened. But yeah, it's really fun. So I hope you'll join me on Tuesday for that. And then join me on Thursday. We've been playing Franbo. It's been getting really good. It's a really scary game. It has a lot of disturbing imagery and lots of violence and gore in it. Recently we just had to dig up the graves of our dead parents, which was wild to me. And then our coffin, which was supposed to have our body in it, only had a cat in it. So we're trying to figure out who could have possibly said that we were dead when we're actually alive, and what's going on with the other realities that we seem to be walking through. We seem to be walking through other realities. So it's a really interesting, thought-provoking game. I hope you guys join me for it. It is very scary and it does have a lot of content warnings, but I hope that doesn't deter you from coming and watching Franbo. It's really fun. And yeah, join us next week Friday, which is Halloween, for a special stream. Gob and I are going to be playing Monster Prom. So come join us for Monster Prom. It's going to be really fun. I'm trying to see if we can possibly play Phasmophobia or any of those other games that are like that. So you could potentially play a little bit longer after the Monster Prom stream. So we'll see how it goes. It should be really fun. So join us on Halloween for something fun and some enjoyable content. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me today, even though we didn't hang out for very long. That's okay. I will have plenty of times to see you later throughout the week. So yeah, come join us and hang out with me. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Sunday being Homestuck and Friday being Visual Novel Friday. So come join those streams if you're interested in checking out what we're doing and what other spooky games we're playing for the season. And go ahead and check out the VODs channel, youtube.com/@princessevillanvods, EVILLAN is how you spell Evelyn, in case you didn't know. There's lots of videos on the VODs channel, including the first parts to Homestuck, which gets dropped tomorrow, and the first part of Franbo, which also drops tomorrow as well. So make sure that you are liked, favorited, subscribed to both the VODs channel and the Twitch channel, so you get updates on when I go live on Twitch, and you get updates on when new videos get dropped on the VODs channel, which is every Saturday. So yeah, anyways, that's all I have for today, guys. This was the only thing that I really wanted to get through and do. So I will see you guys later. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, bye guys. Bye.